This is Chappy here with College Football Impact on 990 WBOB, and I am psyched to be joined by the man, the motivator, the maestro in charge of the champion Chants, Coastal Carolina head coach Jamey Chadwell. Coach, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah, I appreciate being on here. I'm excited about it.
So, first of all, congrats on an incredible season last year. I'm sure that hasn't gotten old yet. You guys have been the talk of college football really ever since I want to say October. And, have you come down yet from last year's euphoric thrills?
Well, I think you have to, right? Because you're only as good as your last performance. And, we didn't end the season the way we wanted to, obviously, but it was a special year. It was a great year. And it's hard for coaches. You never, you're doing through the season. You don't look back and go, man, how great that was. And you hardly ever get a time to do that. But we did take some time to reminisce and and celebrate just how special a season it was, and especially all that the country was going through with the COVID and everything, and not knowing you were going to play. One of those. There's years that you want to forget, right? Because they're bad. That's a year there that you hope that you can hold on to the memories for a long time.
What was the greatest thing that you felt you learned from last year, both as a program, but also individually as a leader?
Well, I think as a program that young people are resilient, and that they will come together. They will come together for a common purpose, and they'll drown out noise. We weren't very good, right? You're not going to be very good. You're not going to be this. You're not going to be that. And our players could have believed that, oh, man, COVID's derailed this, derailed that. And they decided to say, you know what, forget that. We know we can do X, Y, Z, and they focused on that. And so I think as a program, it shows you that it's what you do on the inside. It's what's in your building that matters. None of the outside stuff is all fluff. And I think from a leadership standpoint, the thing that I learned probably more this year than anything, and I think I knew it, but just how strong, you have a locker room. If you have a core group of people that believe what you're about and believe in your mission, and they can spread that to your other players, that so far outweighs anything you can do scheme wise and all those things. We had a certain group that were brought here 4 or 5 years ago, and they've been told they were losers their whole time. And they made an effort to say, that's not who we are. And I think from a leadership standpoint, I learned that, if you can put those people in position to really take ownership of it, man, they can do a phenomenal job. And they did. Those seniors did a phenomenal job for us.
Absolutely, they did. So our theme of this episode is spring cleaning, right? And so, as individuals, but even extending it into corporations, into programs like yours, there's always things that could be cleaned up to make you go from good to great. So looking into 2021, what are some of those areas that you as a program at Coastal are looking to kind of clean up and polish to make 2021 an even better outcome?
Well, I think, for one, where we definitely have to try to get better, we got to clean up, is we were very fortunate last year from a standpoint of really didn't have a lot of injuries, and we're not very deep. And so our whole off season here was really focused on trying to develop some areas where if we do get in some trouble from an injury standpoint, that we feel like there won't be that big of a drop-off. Last year, there would have been a huge drop-off, and we know that. And so we've really been working hard to put those young people that need to take that next step, putting them in positions to be ready to perform if they have to. And this whole spring was towards that. And so as a coach, I feel a little bit, better about, all right, I feel like I'm not saying we're there yet, but there's a good start to where, hey, if something does happen, we feel confident that these guys that have been practicing it, we put them in positions where they need their numbers called, they're ready to step up. And I would say too, if you look back last year, we had a great year. And if you look at statistics, the ones that matter, turnovers, red zone scoring, all those different things. And we were pretty good in our conference and really in the country. But I think anytime you climb a mountain, and we sort of, proverbially climbed a mountain last year, right? Most people, the natural thing is to do and look back and look what I've done. And what we've got to do is we got to look back and focus on how we got here And then this is how we got here and why we got here. And then we got to do those better and more efficient. And so for us, it will be trying to improve the areas that we improved in 20, because you can always get better and continue to raise that standard. And you win games by, not turning the ball over and being efficient, on your key situations, red zone scoring, short yardage, et cetera, third down. And so we got better there. We worked hard on polishing those areas, those key circumstances, that winning football that needs to happen this spring.
Very good. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and we talked about cleaning up things. One thing that I know was kind of talked about that people didn't want cleaned up was the mullets. Is that a little bit of a mullet growing in the back of your head there, Coach, to go along with your players?
I do have a mullet going.
Very nice.
I should have probably had more confidence in them. I said, hey, we win this, Sun Belt championship, I'll grow a mullet. Try to give them extra motivation. I probably should have said something different, obviously. But I'm growing it out. Now I'm not saying I'm going to have it during the season next year. But I am enjoying it this off season a little bit, business in the front, party in the back, so to speak, here down in Conway. So, but I am growing that out right now as we speak.
Very good. And for those, because we're on radio right now, those who can't see it, it is looking pretty fashionable. That is a nice looking party going in the back there, Coach. So kind of switching gears a little bit, following college football for a lot of years, Coach, I've seen many hot young coaches go through what I like to call the stress of success. So 11-1 can bring a lot of questions about, quote unquote, next steps, possibly away from Coastal Carolina. So how do you shut out this noise and turn that into a positive for current players and future recruits to know that you're invested and you're not looking at anywhere else except for what's right in, the ground that you're on right now? What message can you send to Coastal Carolina Nation and potential recruits that you're here and that's all you're concerned with right now?
Well, I would say one, obviously I signed a long-term deal, 7-year deal. So that's, that's a pretty, for both sides, that's a pretty hefty investment from both sides there as far as what you're trying to do here and where you want to be. And what I believe in is you have to be where your feet are. And when you win like that, especially, this football, especially when people don't think you should. Oh man, hey, how are they doing that? We need to check that out, right? And so, and I think that's part of this natural. That's because there's so much money in football, and if you're not winning at a high level, they want to find somebody that is and bring them in and try to do the same. But for us here, I really feel that we would just start really scratching the surface of what we can become here. We have a vision for what we want those programs to become. And obviously, winning the Sun Belt Championship is part of that, but we want to be a consistent winner. But ultimately, we want to be up there, argued as the top G5 in the country. That's what we're building toward here. And we're not even close to that, obviously. But I think we can get that done here. I really believe that. And so we're working in our program to be better every day, be the most consistent team that we can be, maximize the potential that we have here. But Coastal Carolina University and this football program has, in my opinion, has a lot of unlimited potential that we're just starting to tap. And we want to see that, and our staff want to try to see that through and see what we can build here and how special we can make it.
Absolutely. And, you talk about Coastal being considered one of the top G5 programs in the country, and you're in a conference right now, the Sun Belt. It's as deep as it's ever been. So as we head into summer, there are 3 legit teams that have arguments to be ranked in the top 25, obviously your program being one of them. And that's just to start the season. That's never happened in the history of this conference. So what's helped this league become one of the better group of 5 conferences in the nation?
Well, I think one, you've got really good coaches in this league. 2, you have universities that the Sun Belt is a football league and they're putting resources into football. They want to be great in football. We're obviously here in the South, majority, all of us in the South at some point. So it's a deal. It's religion. And right. I think 3, the players, you're getting a lot of quality players. So you take really quality coaches that have coached. I mean, if you look at the coaches in the league currently now, I mean, some of them been head coaches in the SEC. They've been coordinators of the year at FBS and had a lot of success, a lot of different places. You tap that with the resources of what people are putting in. Majority of these programs over the last 3-4 years have put millions and millions of dollars into their facilities and recruiting, et cetera. And the type of players that you can attract in these regions. On top of that, adding where this year, especially for us being on TV, we were on national TV 10 times. The Sun Belt probably got more notoriety this year than maybe any. And I think that showed the country what type of football is being played there. And if you follow anybody college football, our side of the division here, the East Division, got voted the toughest division in all of G5 football.
Yeah,
it's like the SEC West every. It's a tough deal, and if you're not ready, somebody can come get you. And so I think we've known that, but I think more important people are seeing that. Especially last year you had two traditionally really good teams, and then we snuck up right and had a great. I think people started taking notice of that, saying, "Hey, that Sun Belt pretty legit." And it is a tough league. It's hard every week, and you're not going to out scheme and out some of those things. You got to be ready to go every day.
Very good. So earlier, me and the guys here on CFI, we talked about some of the rule changes as well as some of the rules that we think could be tweaked. Is there an area in the rule book or maybe even off the field that you'd like to see improved and polished to a nice shine the next year or two, something that could be cleaned up for the betterment of the game?
Well, I know one they're talking about a lot is the fake injury deal, where the people are going fast. They're trying to fix that one. I think that's something that eventually it's going to come to a head. I think they're trying to fix it there. I think that's one that, you can't question if somebody gets injured, obviously, but some of these are so obvious when they happen, right? It's pretty embarrassing, and I get that. I think that's one that you'll see clean up. And, I think with the way this COVID has went, from an off the field standpoint, I think you're going to see where maybe there's elimination, or I don't know if it's an elimination, but maybe less of coaches being on the road and using more of the virtual things. I think I can see that happening, which I think is a positive thing, truthfully. I think that allows coaches to be more involved with their current team. I think that allows high school coaches to be involved with their team and not have to worry about coaches coming in as much. So I think you're going to see some change to that a little bit. And so, the thing that always frustrates me just about the rules is that you tweak them. There's like one you're always tweaking. They look at, is the lineman 3 yards downfield or is he not? Eventually there's going to be something there where it's going to be one or nothing, because everybody's going back and forth on that. And then the other one that always gets me is we continue to, from a standpoint of blocking below the waist and all that. That one's changed every year, and it's this or that. And basically they're trying to get rid of it, but some coaches don't want them to, and they always tweak it to make it harder and harder. I think sometimes we make these to try to appease certain people and say, hey, what's best for, all of college football. And so, but hopefully, for the most part, we got a good game, right? It's fun to watch. There's a lot of positives going on there. Sometimes if you do too much, you make it boring. And once you do that, you lose the excitement and the pageantry of what people love about college football.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's like religion, I mean, a lot of followers, and for all good reasons, good parallels. Coach, I got to say, I'm really glad we had the opportunity to chat today, and we thank you for joining us on our show. Listen, continue the good that you're doing. I can honestly say, from college football people everywhere, what's happening at Coastal is what continues to make this game great, better than any other product out there. So please keep up the good work. God bless, and hopefully we can hook up again sometime, Coach.
I hope so too. We hope to see you in Conway for a game now.
Yes, sir. Go Shawns.
Yeah. Appreciate you very much.